how we should learn from Mahabharata? What is your main takings from Mahabharata?
Look, first of all, to learn something, you have to focus on it. You have to keep a compartment. I believe very strongly in compartmentalization, because we are living many parallel lives because of parallel roles in the current world. Everyone is playing role of a son or daughter, mother or father, friend, peers, employers, employees. A lot of relationships are happening. So in that case, you have to give time to different roles. The time can be daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. So you have to create compartments where you give a certain number of time to certain number of activities. So if you want to bring Mahabharata in this, dedicate a certain number of hours every day or every week, depending on your choice, that you want to study it. That's the very most simple way to start understanding it, and do it very lightly. You
So
have to
like
understand.
it depends on our perspective, that what we are seeking for.
Yeah.
And if I ask, what is the main teachings of Mahabharata?
First teaching is that, first and foremost, is that sense of righteousness.
Right.
If you are doing something wrong, sooner or later, time will catch with you. See the word I am using. I am not saying law will catch it with you. I am saying time will catch with you. So the human birth, if I talk about humanity, is about birth, existence, and then death. How much smart you are, how great you are, your existence is in your, maybe in your control, is in your control quite a level. Your birth and your death is not in your control. And I have seen the kind of work I do, I get a chance to meet people who are close to their death. And I see some of them dying so peacefully and some of them dying in so much pain. So God can ensure that God can balance all the smartness you have shown in the wrong way or a wrong application of your abilities. Because even intelligence is an ability. Even a wrong person can be very intelligent, which a lot of times they are. But at the end time, that pain will balance whatever things you have done.
So do we get everything in this lifetime only, or we carry?
I have, by my experience, I feel that a lot of major portion you get during the time of death itself, the balancing happens.
Yeah, yeah.
If you try to hold your breath for some time, you realize what's the pain of suffocation. Imagine that pain staying for a longer duration. That itself shows that everything can be balanced.
That's, yeah,
But what
wonderful.
happens, we are seeing things only in the best part. We normally see everyone in their best, in their young time and all. If you want to really study and understand something, see it till its end. Like if you want to judge a book, first of all, judgment is not right. No, nothing should be judged. But if you are judging something also, judge it from the beginning, middle, and the end. Then your judgment will be more practical and scientific.
I think here also your takings must be a sense of righteousness, or
Everyone's taking has to be sense of righteousness, because finally, time is the ultimate key. Time will definitely catch up with anyone, including me. So, the sense of righteousness has to be taken in
so
consideration.
is it the same thing as dharma?
Yes. The word dharma is basically the sense of righteousness. And here, everyone has a different dharma. Please don't understand that dharma is biased. It's not biased. It's very specific to the kind of dharma. Basically means the code of conduct in a way. If a scientist is there, he or she has to do research on their subject. If an engineer has to do is there, he or she has to work on the projects. If a artist is there, if a painter is there, they have to focus on their creation. If a movie creator, movie director is there, he or she has to focus on the movie. Same like an actor, politician, each one has their own roles and they have to do their respective roles with their utmost honesty and integrity. That's it. So that's what dharma is. Dharma is the code of doing what is right for you, doing your best as per your capacity. You can't expect a fish to climb the tree or a monkey to just keep swimming in the water. They have a different species, they are made for different things. So dharma is about in your respective position, in your relative position, what you are doing. So I believe the biggest take for Mahabharata for anyone, including myself, is the understanding of the sense of righteousness, is the understanding of what dharma is. And dharma creates karma. So what I mean here is that your action is important, but your intention is more important. So dharma has a more strong control over the intention. What is the motivation? Even the legal field, if you see that the whole legal field takes this in consideration, what is the intention of the person, and hence everything changes as per the intention.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
what dharma specifies, that what is righteous, and then the action comes. And someone can say, oh, it was in earlier times, people used to kill each other in the war. Now it's happening.
True. Yeah.
If any soldier kills another opposition enemy soldier, they may get a medal. The
But
same guy,
that is their dharma,
that is the dharma.
right?
He is doing
Yeah.
his dharma,
Right.
or he or she is doing his dharma. But if the same person kills someone in their village without a reason, it's a crime.
It's a crime.
Act is the same. Act is of killing, but the intention and the circumstances change the context. So that's with everyone.
So here I want to ask, in a legal perspective, whatever is our dharma, people are diverting. They are easily getting diverted, and they don't know, they are not aware in their own sense, right? So what is the message for them? How one can be more aware?
If you use the word law, so if you study law, in law also the initial principles of law talk about the law of natural justice. So law is something which is followed by man-made systems, like all the systems made, the currently running system, which do a great work by themselves. We are not gods, but we have designed a system to deliver justice. If by chance something misses because of circumstances, then the divine law will definitely take up. So in all the disorder, in all the chaos of the world, there is ultimately undercurrent of beautiful great order. So there is a system which is running. And history has shown us this. Whenever there is an aggressor, there is a revolutionary.
True.
So whenever some forces rise and some forces will come to balance it, the balance will remain. Even in extremity, the balance remains.
So what is your opinion on corona? I mean, in this time also, a lot of things happened, and people, they lost their.
Look, anything has to be studied in the perspective of cause and effect. If you see corona times, people suffered. A lot of people faced. It was a very, very catastrophic time for many culture, nationalities.
It happened worldwide, right?
Yeah,
Not,
it was a worldwide
yes.
activity. But if you notice, anybody who had a strong immunity, the effect of corona on them was very marginalized. So this shows yourself, the first dharma is that to protect your body and mind. If you are not taking care of your own body and mind, how do you think you can protect others' body and mind? If you are not sincere to your own self, how do you think to which extent you will be sincere to others?
Very true. Yeah.
So it's your responsibility to be happy and healthy. And I link happiness and health a lot. So basically, what happens when you're saying happy and health, you link happiness and health. Basically, you have to understand that if you are not happy, you will not be able to motivate yourself to keep working for long. And any institution, any industry, any organization needs to be worked for a very long time to keep rising. You can't rise in life if you're not working hard, both qualitatively and quantitatively. It's not just about quantity of time, it's also about quality. If you're focusing for half an hour, what is the immersion of you in the topic? That's why the higher levels of yoga, they talk about dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Samadhi actually means amalgamation, which means becoming your topic. So it's going from concentration to super concentration to amalgamation. Imagine the depth. Yeah. So right now you see the scientists, last 120 years, the kind of inventions have come up, the way technology has taken up. You see, that's because a group of people have immersed themselves, and we all are taking from them. So basically, they are like yogis. They are yogi means someone who gets yugm, which means someone who gets connected. So they are connecting to their topic so much that they are creating new discoveries, inventions, and whatnot. So same is in Bhagavad Gita. If you study it, that's why I see so many foreigners studying and knowing about Bhagavad Gita. I know so many foreigners giving respect to Sanskrit. So it's taken one of those revered languages which has got 16 qualities, like very high level qualities. But also understand, let's see the growth, especially the fields grown in the last 35 to 40 years. Industrial revolution happened, and after that IT field came up. So there has been one after another lot of things coming. Now a lot of these things are coming from scientists who started working in the West. A lot of things we are using around us, they've started, their origin point is West. So when you meet a Westerner and you talk too much about their things, they still respect you, but when they are talking to you, they look towards you on what knowledge you have got about your ancient culture and about your ancient knowledge. If you tell the inventor of camera, that what camera does, he or she will not respect you because they know that they have created it. But when you talk about something which is your creation, which is your giving to the society, the effect on them will be very different. So when you talk about Mahabharata or anything like this, you earn their respect because they are coming. Don't forget, most people who are coming to the world, who are coming to India, they come to India for peace. They see the way they see India is like it's a land of miracles. They have a great feeling towards, it gives a great boost to a right brain. It's a world of imagination. So when I used to do healing, lot of people in West used to ask me that, oh, is like every Indian like this? That's the kind of sensation an Indian has. That's like a responsibility an Indian has. So knowing your heritage is a great benefit. I have seen so many Westerners coming to India, learning and becoming teachers in their respective countries. Yoga and spirituality still attracts one of the highest inflow of Westerners to India. So why not include, amalgamate in this process Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata also? Because if anybody studies it from a neutral mind, they will find something to learn. There is nobody in the world who can read Mahabharata and not find something good to learn from a neutral perspective.
Yeah, that's very true. And as you said very rightly, Indian heritage, right?
Yeah.
So, what is the importance of Mahabharata?
Look, the biggest statement is that one of the names of India is Bharat originally. So Mahabharata and Bharat has so much in common that I don't need to underline that much. But Indian heritage starts a lot about Mahabharata.
Right.
Okay, Ramayana is even higher in standards. If you see Ramayana, as I said earlier also, everyone is so high in standards. By the time of Mahabharata, and Mahabharata happened between the cusp of Dwapar and Kali Yuga, you can relate to Mahabharata even more. Because in Mahabharata, the tendencies, the qualities, all the good qualities, bad qualities, jealousy, envy, vengeance, everything is such a high degree. So a normal person can connect to Mahabharata to even high degree, both from an ethical standard and a non-ethical standard. Even a non-ethical person of this age will have a difficulty connecting with Ravan, who had such a high ethics. It's very easy to think about Ravan as a negative person, but see the positive qualities he had. And obviously Ram is said Maryada Purushottam. He's God. People, and he has proved it in his skills also. It's not just he's God because people believe he's God. He had skills. Also, when he tested against a Rakshasa whom Vali threw away, Ram with one kick threw away the body of that Rakshasa similar distance. So again it showed that okay, he can kill Vali. So my point is that there is a test in every field. They are testing each other.
Yeah.
There are many examples. If I don't want to mix Ramayana time with Mahabharata, but point is that they are being tested. When Bhim asks Hanuman to help in the war, because in the one of the incidents Bhim also meets Hanuman in the forest. Hanuman says him very clearly, I will support you with my blessings, but I cannot fight this war because this is not my age. When he says not my age means the enemies of yours are not up to my standard.
Okay.
See the standardization level. He is saying the enemies you are fighting are not of my level. I can't fight. This is not my age to fight. He doesn't mean his physical age. He means the time going is not for him to fight.
A lot of things are there.
A lot of things. If you study it, it's like I found it like a management subject than just a great revered epic.
What would you suggest for corporates or in business? What we should learn from Bhagavad Gita?
Look, I know a lot of corporations whose heads are already studying in their capacity, their own personal capacity to understand Mahabharata. However, it can be definitely taken up by I believe, the management institutions, the premier management institution of India. They can take them as their core studies. That's a good way of uh, letting something good go in the minds of young people.
Right.
And from a neutral perspective of understanding, be it just strategic understanding or otherwise, I believe it will bring a great improvement in the IQ and the EQ level of the individual, whichever person who takes it up. It just depends on how much effort they are giving and which way they take it.
So here lot of learnings for each and everyone, but how it is relevant for everyone? for you, for me, or for...
Look,
Yeah.
I told you Mahabharata is telling you the sense of righteousness.
Right. Yes.
So there were 4 pillars in those times. Even now it is there, but at that time it was very strictly being followed. Dharma, Arth,
Calm.
Kam,
Moksha.
Moksha. Righteousness, profit, enjoyment, salvation. Actually, every human being also is looking for these 4. Now they have an order. They are not saying moksha, kam, arth, dharma.
True.
The sequence is
Yeah.
very important. They are saying
Right.
dharma, then earth, then kam, then moksha. So basically, there is a line of action.
Right.
So in Mahabharata, as I said, everybody is being righteous. Forget about the good parts. Even bad characters are doing righteous. Shakunui is protecting the legacy of his sister's family.
Right.
Bhishma is trying to see all of them combined. Bhishma is not biased towards Pandavas.
Because
Everyone.
of his own promise, he did that.
Promise
he was,
also and feelings also. It's not just promise. You see the angle. He has love for Kauravas also.
True. Yeah.
He prefers. There's a word called preference. He's preferring Pandavas, but he loves Kauravas also.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are a lot of instances. So he is doing his dharma. Drona is doing the role of a teacher. Karna is doing the role of a friend. Arjun is doing the role of the chief, one of the chief heroes on whose
So all the
shoulders.
senior masters, they used to love everyone, like
Yeah.
Pandava and Kaurava equally.
Yeah.
But they stood by Kaurava because of their maybe dharma.
Yeah, all the great guys who went on Kaurava's side was because of their sense of righteousness in their own way. Drona was obliged by the kingdom. When Drona first came to Hastinapur, he had nothing.
Right.
For his survival, that time Hastinapur gave him everything. So he
Right,
was
yeah.
loyal to the throne.
Right.
Bhishma was loyal to his father and the legacy of Pururava, Bharat.
Right.
And Karna was loyal to the rin which Angaraj Karna had because of Duryodhan.
Duryodhan.
So if you see all the so-called heroes being on the side of Kauravas, they are doing their respective roles. So again, the question is about how was the righteousness in for the all the,
Right.
even Shakunu is doing his role.
But there is always free will, right?
Free will, but each had a choice. Your free will also has to go somewhere. Suppose I have a free will, but I will apply it somewhere, right? Having free will doesn't mean not applying it. Having free will, the concept of free will gives you a power of choice, but only once. If I tell you that I like the color blue, I had the free will to choose a color. You gave me a choice to choose a color. Once I say blue, my free will ends.
We cannot change.
We cannot
again
change it.
and-
That this is how legal system comes in place. The law says whatever you planned is one thing, but once you have executed, then whatever you plan becomes a supporting circumstantial evidence to that. Now you can't say that no, I was just planning in because the action has happened. So once you make the choice, the free will ends.
Right.
Then the new free will be related to something new. So every character is doing things which they feel is right. Dushasan, on one side he is one of the villains, but second side he is a great brother who believes whatever his elder brother is saying is right. His devotion is comparable to devotion of Lakshman to Ram. The intention, ethics and movement is wrong, but his devotion is of very high order.
Right.
He dies because of that, very painful death. So my point is that everyone there is doing things what they feel is the best, but once they believe it is the best, they are doing it to another level. See the example of the women in Mahabharata. Gandhari never gives the blessing of being victorious in the war to Duryodhana or anybody on Kaurava's side because she feels they are not right.
Wow.
Imagine a mother in current context not giving a blessing or support to son who is not right. And if you go even slightly towards not ancient history, even the current time, like Ahilya Devi, she gave punishment to her own son. So there have been examples like this. So if once you feel something is right, so everybody can learn from Mahabharata because in everyone's life there is a Mahabharata going on, and actually everybody is doing what they feel is right.
Yeah. So we should have like very great heart to
Yeah, it's not easy to fight
yeah, it's
because
not.
first is a fight for skill. Like when Arjuna was fighting in Virat Yudh, it was not his personal war. He was obliged to a kingdom and protecting it. But when he was fighting the Mahabharata war, it was his personal war and the sense of dharma. So the responsibility on him was too high. in Mahabharata, once the matter comes on Mahabharata, war, there is no concept of anything else except Dharma. That's why Krishna says, he's never mentioned earth, kam and moksha, as he has given prominence on Dharma. Why? Because he says, जब धर्म और अधर्म के बुद्ध युद्ध चल रहा हो, तब उसके बाद कोई तीर्थ स्थल नहीं बचता युद्ध क्षेत्र के अलावा.
Wow.
When the fight is happening, when it's decided there will be a fight, then there is no concept of anything except dharma. Then all these remaining things remain. Because if dharma will be there, then these three things will come later. It's like the base structure of a building. That is dharma. Then above this is earth, then is kam, then is moksha. If this is not there, don't talk about all that. So once the war is declared, that war will happen, just be on the war. That's what the initial chapters of Mahabharata are. That's what the initial chapters of Bhagavad Gita are. When Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita is asking the doubts that what all will happen when this war will happen, he is talking very technical stuff. Please read the initial adhyaya, first adhyaya. He says if this war will happen, what will happen, what will happen, what will happen. He says all the technical things which happened. But then also Krishna says, but still the war is required.
So, like how to understand here, when we have choice to choose right thing, we should be very mindful, we should be very aware, because all this war was just because of one wrong decision.
Yeah. Look, oh my God, I really like this question. Look, as your consciousness and awareness gets higher, your responsibility gets higher. Suppose a college boy is there, a boy who's studying in college. If he gets angry on some point and fights, then he is operating on the consciousness of a young guy. But when he thinks that, oh no, my father may not be happy, or my mother will not be happy, or it may affect my family, then he is on the consciousness of a family person. And when he starts thinking that this can create disorder in society, then he's thinking from the perspective of society. And when he thinks what's the contribution in terms of nation, then he's thinking like a citizen of India.
Right.
You see how the consciousness is expanding. So as you expand in consciousness, which happens in the different ashrams of life, when you go from brahmacharya to grihasth to vanprasth to sannyas, as you expand, your responsibility becomes higher.
Right.
If I am saying to be a vegetarian, that means my consciousness includes the consciousness of welfare of animals. Someone who is a non-vegetarian cannot say that he or she cares a lot about animals. He or she cares about his own body and is the people who think like them, but not about animals.
A lot of people, they says, I love animals, but they happily eat
No,
non-veg.
I really, that's a very interesting thing. If I say, so I once met someone in Europe, and they asked that, okay, what your hobby? I said, I love animals. They said, okay, love to keep or love to eat? So because I was very impressed yesterday, I said, obviously love to keep, not love to eat.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they say, oh, I love fish. That doesn't mean they love to keep fish. They mean that they love to eat fish. So I'm not saying that being vegetarian is the ultimate choice, but definitely the awareness of a vegetarian person is more than the awareness of a non-vegetarian person, because they are taking the welfare of the animal. So that's a gradual change in your consciousness. But again, every saint had a past, every sinner has a future. I love the story of Milarepa a lot. He was a very great yogi, a great Tibetan yogi. He's very famous if people study about him, who from being the worst and the most dangerous sorcerer becomes the greatest enlightened masters.
Yeah.
So,
and even Angulimal from
in the Indian context, Angulimal, the way he grows, Valmiki story.
Valmiki.
So my point is that there are examples. At any stage of life, you can start choosing to improve. That's why we should not judge anyone. That is also a point. We should not judge anyone.
We don't know who is going through.
Because we don't know who is going through what and when the speed of growth can change. And things can change. You see, a train starts from a point to another point. It takes 12 hours. A plane may start 3 hours later and reach 3 hours earlier.
True, yeah.
So someone can start improving much later but improve much faster. So my judgment will get wrong if I try to judge that person.
Yeah.
So I have known people who have turned from a non-vegetarian to a vegetarian and then are working so well for the animal cause.
Yeah, yeah.
But still, till they have not turned, the rules remain rules. They are not, it's not like if I am doing it becomes different, someone else becomes different. What is right is right. And actually if you connect within you, you feel that also. But I want this whole discussion to be more about the awareness of the focused from the modern perspective rather than the ancient perspective. That's why I'm not focusing on any particular lines of the book or any particular textures, because a lot of times what happens when spiritualists talk about Mahabharata, a lot of people say that you are talking about an age which is not existing. They always have this very strong logic. You are talking about the age which is not existing, which is right. Mahabharata happened in the cusp of Dwapar to Kali Yuga, long back. That's why I am right now not using anything to do with the perspective of that. I am talking from the modern perspective.
Yeah.
Any references of the law or science I am taking are from the modern perspective, nothing from the ancient perspective.
And in short, what we learn from there, it's important.
It's important.
Doesn't matter when it happened and
Yeah.
what will happen
Yeah.
in future, but what we are doing, what we are learning, what we are taking from there.
Yeah, like okay, if there's such a strong culture of war and all these warriors, don't forget they were supported by great craftsmen, great artists, the great culture of this business.
Business.
So what is interesting is that the angle of earth was very strong. Hastinapur was a very rich kingdom. Dwarka was a very rich empire. So there's a lot of earth, the kind of calm, the kind of paintings, the arts, trainings, and the concept of moksha. Imagine Bhishma after the finishing of Mahabharata waits for Uttarayan to start and leaves his body. We can compare Bhishma here in a way to Jesus Christ, but in a much more painful position. He continues for Uttarayan to start.
What was the reason behind it?
Because Uttarayan is the time when the sun starts. It's basically astronomical fact that sun enters the Capricorn sign and Uttarayan is considered most auspicious. So he didn't wanted to end his life in Dakshinayan and he had the capacity to bear the pain. Imagine a person, it's like just
So
unimaginable
do we
strength.
carry something from this life to another life? Or
Look, that brings the concept to death.
there's a lot of things to learn, a lot of things that, there's everywhere we can grow. So coming to my next and last question, is the importance of Bhagavad Gita is inclusive of Mahabharata, or Bhagavad Gita is separately important?
Well, it's a very good question because Bhagavad Gita by itself is, there are so many treatises on Bhagavad Gita. You can imagine the importance of Bhagavad Gita that a lot of times in the court of law they ask you to take a pledge over Bhagavad Gita. That itself shows how much reverence they have for Bhagavad Gita. So it's obviously inclusive to Mahabharata. It's like the conclusive part of Mahabharata, I can say.
Right.
After Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata war happens and finishes out.
Is the cream of
Yes.
entire story.
Yes.
So how
you,
much time?
you just yourself define the answer. It's like the cream of the milk.
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita is so important that if you understand it, then everything else becomes secondary.
Right.
But still, Mahabharata has its own importance from a strategic and management perspective. Bhagavad Gita is like, this is it. Don't forget, Bhagavad Gita is said by Lord Krishna. And he is directly saying in that I am the ultimate existence in the world. He is not talking like a messenger. He is not saying I am messenger of God. He is not saying I am son of God. What he is saying is I am God. So after he is saying something, its chance of picking up the fight is too high. Arjun was very sensitive. Anybody who is becoming improved version of himself or herself is very sensitive. And hence he sees the chaos after the war. The number of people dying, the systems crashing, the economy crashing. And when Krishna says and gives, and it's like a question answer. If you study Bhagavad Gita carefully, the first sentence of Bhagavad Gita is by Dhritarashtra. It's not Arjun or Krishna.
Okay.
And the last statement of Bhagavad Gita is the answer by Sanjay. Please see it, the first and last. So it's a journey question by a person who is blind, who is representing symbol of darkness.
Right.
And the right answer is by Sanjay, the last answer, who is a symbol of guy who is having a divya drishti, you can see
Third eye,
from
yeah.
far, who's symbol of light. So actually in total it's a journey from darkness to light, in which Krishna and Arjun became a part of it. So actually it's a conversation between Dhritarashtra and Sanjay, and manifested and magnified by Krishna and Arjun.
So it's like very relevant with each and every one of us.
Yeah, it's relevant because every one of us in every field are learning, right? What is knowledge? Knowledge is going from the journey of known to unknown. If I learn anything new, suppose if I know how to ride a cycle and go to ride a car, I am trying to understand the perspective of what I know already. So to learn anything is going from the realm of unknown to known by using what is already known to me.
Mm.
So Dhritarashtra for reference has Sanjay who knows something. Dhritarashtra doesn't know something, and with the help of Sanjay is coming to know something. That's what education is. In education, you have these professors and different media systems to learn. So with their assistance, someone who is not knowing something is coming to know something. That's what Mahabharata is. Whatever you can think about it, but finally it's teaching something from the perspective of learning. There's huge knowledge.
That's wonderful, Yash ji. Learning lot of things in modern context from Bhagavad Gita and from modern yogi. I mean, there's endless things we can learn from Bhagavad Gita.
Look, I would say one thing on this. Everyone is a yogi. Everyone who wants to improve and is making efforts to improve is a yogi. So basically it's about about the choice that you just keep growing, you just keep working on yourself. So आपका journey में होना important है. You being in the journey of growth is important. How much you grew is not important. That's why I love that song. I tried so hard and got so far. In the end, it doesn't matter. I tried, I reached there. Doesn't matter how much I reached. I tried. Better than someone who is not trying.
Yeah.
So someone who is reading Mahabharata and not understanding is still better than someone who is not reading it.
True. Yep.
At least you made a try. So you got a result in every field of life. I say this. You got something or not doesn't matter. Did you try it for it with sincerity? And that's what the difference between heroes and non-heroes. Heroes don't give up. They just keep trying. And I have a lot of examples, a lot of Indians whom I have been very impressed by in their journey, that who have just kept trying and they have reached. Okay, their reaching is one part, but what really makes me feel fascinated is that the way they grow, because India is a big country. There are a lot of times lack of resources in certain ways and all, and still the way the people have achieved things, I believe it's a great culture and great nation. It has gone through such hard times and still it is a very strong country in the current system of the world. The way it contributes to the world in every way, especially technology, science and everything else. It's great to be Bharat and it's great to be a Mahabharat.
Yes, definitely. A lot of examples are there. Example of Gujarat.
First the earthquakes came there
Earthquake,
and all,
yeah.
the way they rose. Yeah,
Yes.
but every state of India has its own
Definitely,
fight. If you study the history, that Northeast, the way Northeast has done so well, and the way they have protected against the invasions and all, it was very great performance by them. So even now the Gorkha regiment, the way they perform, and every state has shown it's their own character, and everyone should just try to make themselves a better version of themselves. That's it. That's what all modern economic schools and production systems also follow. That every product is a result of a process, and the word kaizen, one of them in Japanese, means continuous improvement. In Turkish, the word for continuity is devam,
Wow.
which is in Sanskrit means God.
God.
So
yes.
if you are doing something continuously and improving, that's a great thing to do. That's it.
Lot of friends. It's really very interesting, and I don't have words. I'm just speechless. So we just need to remove our blindfolds as Dhritarashtra did. Though he was blind, but still he wanted to know. He wanted to
Yeah,
grow.
he made a choice to grow.
Yeah, he made a choice to grow. So you don't need to. We don't need to go anywhere. Just we need to open Bhagavad Gita whenever we are in darkness,
Yeah,
whenever we
yeah,
need
yeah,
guidance.
yeah, yeah.
It's really great,
Yeah.
great place to
To
learn from.
to
Yes.
learn from, yeah.
Yeah. Great. So thank you, Yash ji, for all your wisdom.
My pleasure to all of you. I'm just trying to let this message reach. It's not for any particular person, it's for the consciousness,
Yes.
for society to understand that first of all, the only judgment is not to judge, and just do it to improve.
Yes.
Whatever effort in small ways you can, and if you do the improvement, nation will improve and the world will become a better place for everyone.
Very beautiful message. Very beautiful message. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're also kind to, the cream you have given in 2 lines.
Yeah,
It's a
that's-
beautiful. Thank you. Thank you again for
Thank you.
coming and for sharing all your wisdom from
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.